Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about the AMA with Scott Herman that the Saitama Guru has just been on. My name is Michael. Welcome back to the 2-Bit Crypto channel. Make sure you are subscribed for daily cryptocurrency content. So the big news, Russ, I was on with Scott Herman on his channel. I'll leave a link down below so you can go check the full AMA out. Talking about SAITAMASK and all the things that people want to know. Now, a couple of things to note on this that I thought was really, really interesting. The chat was unbelievably toxic. So I think that's really interesting. That shows you who was tuning into this AMA and probably the feeling of the community right now. But it was, it was absolutely very, very different to what you would expect from a Scott Herman AMA, and certainly what you would expect, what we saw in the last one. But I guess, what do we get out of it? Not a great deal, probably more of an update than anything else. We're going to go through kind of the pullouts that I thought were important that I think people need to be aware of. But again, very much comfortable, very, conversation based, as opposed to, okay, what's happening with. So we'll go through kind of, what I thought was interesting and what I pulled out from that AMA, and I guess where I think we are right now. So if we go into kind of Saitama, the price, it's done nothing in terms of the price. Not that you would expect a huge move out of it, but look, 248 down nearly 5% or 4.16. So $1.3 billion market cap, so is still in a relatively sharp, a relative decline, not sharp decline, $4.6 million in daily volume. So what do we get out of the AMA? Well, Russ kind of talked a little bit of nonsense and then probably a little bit of interesting stuff as well. So 100,000 users straight away onto SAITAMASK. I'm not sure I believe that, if I'm totally honest, given the challenges that we had, but clearly there was a big uptake in terms of people. I don't think they were ready for it, and that's why we saw the kind of issues that we had. If I'm dead honest, I don't think the app was really ready to launch it, but I think the trouble they've had is that so many deadlines they've missed, they just had to put it out. So they've turned the swap feature off now. They are going to work it. No official hard date for it, although what they did say is it will be out well in advance before the Dubai Expo. They told us a lot about the Dubai Expo, which I thought was really, really good. We'll talk about that in a minute. The Bitmark buyback, if I'm honest, I think that's dead in the water now. I think listening to Russ and how he talked about it, that's done. Saitama are taking some legal action, again, if you believe that, but I think it's all sits at Bitmark's doorstep, and I think Saitama have got their own problems right now. The liquidity was, they bought some back, Russ didn't say anywhere near, but look, I think it's done. I don't think we're going to see much more in terms of that. They claim they were the highest volume token on Bitmark, doing nearly 1,000 transactions an hour. Again, I'm not sure. I don't really believe it. But look, I think Bitmark are going to do what Bitmark do, and I don't really think Saitama can do much about it. They talked about the SAITAMASK and the Willie D. Willie D came up a couple of times, actually, which I thought was interesting, that the whole Qcoin situation was affected by Willie D's kind of Bitcoin market cap. What Russ did then say is he's meeting up with Willie D next week, doing an event in Houston, I believe it was, which could be interesting. We could see some big things like that. We know Willie D's involved in music. They talked about the NFT, SAITAMAker, and getting kind of a music NFTs out there, so that's going to be interesting. We might see something next week, or certainly some more PR information, which would be really, really good. They talked about the bots. I'm not going to talk much about it, but just these front-running bots that skim little bits off, that basically stealing your money, so they want to make sure that that's not on there. And that the goal is, and their ambition is 1 million swaps a day, which is somewhere near where Uniswap is, which could be huge. I think we're a long way away from getting that, but look, the potential's there. Now, the Dubai Expo, it's going to be big. A couple of things that Russ talked about, which I thought was interesting. They've got one of the biggest booths. They've got stage time. Now, when we actually check the Crypto Dubai Expo, we don't actually see Russ as one of the speakers in there, which I thought was interesting. I've talked about this before. And I think if they've got stage time, I would expect to see Russ in here. So whether that's going to come, we know that people are getting added to this all the time. Jordan Fung's in there, Cliff Fettner's in there. Whether we'll see Russ in this is a possibility. But look, talked about the Crypto Dubai Expo and how big that's going to be. They're going to have a demo of the game Wolfcaster 1992, which I think will be exciting to see. And obviously SAITAMASK and the swap function will be fully operational. Two-factor authentication will be on there as well. They talked about that, which I think will be really, really good. And then the SAITAMAker, they are going to take down OpenSeas. So let me know in the comments if you think that's going to happen. But SAITAMAker, and look, there's a lot of NFTs. This isn't about as OpenSea per se. We know Mandox are bringing one out. We know that Shibnobi want to bring one out. There's lots of other tokens that want to bring an NFT platform. What's different about SAITAMASK? That's the question. And one of the things I think they've got wrong, I think Russ did get wrong, is he doesn't want to be known as the meme coin central. And I think it's probably doing a disservice to some of the tokens that are out there. You think of something like TARP that's come out that's got a real solid use case. Mandox, again, got a real solid use case. I think they're missing a trick if they think they're going to be a Binance or a Coinbase. The market's captivated by those. What they should be is that first starting point for people getting into crypto for DeFi. So, but they did really talk about the fact they don't want to be in there, and that the fact they're trying to work with things like XRP to get that on there and start to get some more stable coins associated with it. They're working on getting bank accounts onto SAITAMASK, so you can transfer in and out of bank accounts, but there's a lot of legislation that goes into that. And that they're starting to work with a PR team, and they want to just really narrow this source of information so we don't end up with Lambo situations or people moving money into SAITAMASK to question it. And I think that was probably the bit in Scott Herman's AMA that was kind of probably on most people's mind, that a lot of noise, a lot of FUD is generated within the kind of hardcore community of SAITAMASK and Saitama, where things get misconstrued. It's a bit like the old school Chinese whispers. So I think overall it was a pretty solid AMA. There's quite a bit in there that we can go away and look at. Quite a bit that's coming down, but no hard deadlines, no kind of stick to the fact. We still don't have the swap function. So look, are we going to see any movement in the price? I don't think so. I think the interesting event next week can be good. I think as we build into Dubai, could see some sort of price movement. There's a lot of talk of business deals and getting into things over in Dubai. So I think we will see some definite movement in a lot of tokens going into there. Where's the confidence at with Saitama? I think it's still pretty low. Doesn't mean that it's going anywhere long term. Russ talked even about Saitama stabilizing, deflationary token. At one point, you know, they want to be a really stable coin that people can use against. And I guess you've got to have that in some respects to work for a swap function, but we are a long way from that. But let me know in the comments below what you thought of the AMA, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.